Hello, I'm Markus Hummel, Managing Director of Oxford Energy. Welcome to the second edition of Current Trends in Commodity Trading. This is part of our own research into the complexities of CTRM companies. Joining me again here in beautiful Vienna are Gerald Neher, Managing Director of ComFin. Hello. Hello. Daniel Gallar, Business Development Manager. Daniel, in our last interview a couple of weeks ago, you stressed the importance of integration interface projects. Would you care to elaborate on that?
Well, usually chances are companies will already be using some sort of system, whether an internally developed system or an accounting system for their ERP backbone. And, well, let's be honest, we've all heard of interface projects that eventually got totally out of hand, totally over budget, and over time. Most companies are now in need of a vendor with an excellent record of interface projects at the most competitive price and within the tightest time frames. I think a lot of them are now finally understanding that there is no such thing as standard implementation time frames. This is a bit of a myth. Each project is essentially different. Therefore, it needs to be done in a different manner. In some companies looking to implement a commodity trading and risk management system usually have an ERP or accounting system that their new CTRM software must seamlessly integrate with. Unfortunately, the utmost importance of this integration process is often neglected or put off till the very last stages of the CTRM implementation process. And this seems to be the problem here.
Right. So what does that imply in your expert opinion?
Well, this ERP CTRM integration process, whether it be to SAP, JD Edwards or Navision, is something that's typically underestimated by many companies. They either think that it's not so important or that it can be put off until the very end. I guess what many companies, in particular those with more complex trading portfolios, do not realize is that there may be a few additional points of integration required than they had originally anticipated. So just by means of illustration and how this situation is often overlooked, companies that just acquired a CTRM system may very well end up spending 5 to 6 times the license fee of both systems combined, just trying to have both systems integrated and consolidated.
Now that's shocking. So what can ComFin offer in terms of interface projects then?
Well, at ComFin we know that each company is essentially different and therefore it operates differently. This is actually a bit of a company motto. Through in-depth consultations with our new clients, we find out exactly what they require. Once our experts learn about the client's business strategy and processes, the points of integration will be designed, and that's exactly when work begins. We surely take into account that there will be most likely several new CTRM system releases per year, and for each one of them there could be some integration touch-ups to be redone. Also the same applies to ERP upgrades and so on and so forth. On the other hand, vendors of course support only their own packages in case of problems, all adding to the level of complexity and hassle that users may encounter. So it becomes evident that although paramount, any point of integration between a CTRM system and an ERP solution can be expensive. It requires extensive time and planning, and it implies a level of risk. Poor integration would hinder the company's efficiency in terms of, for instance, workflow, leverage across the board, back-to-back reconciliations, data consolidation across systems, etc., etc. So whenever done properly, users will end up with a fully integrated suite of business systems where the complexities of getting all applications together no longer poses a problem.
Thank you for the thorough explanation. Can you give some specific examples of interfaces you have created for your clients?
Yeah, for example, last year we developed an interface to the official ICE trading platform, which means basically that traders enter their orders on there. By the click of a button, these are then imported into ComCore, and so the traders won't need to enter them again in their CTRM system. So basically our clients are able to import contracts from the ICE platform directly into ComCore and then assign them to hedging strategy or portfolio. These imported trades are also available for exposure and profit loss analysis. And any updates or deletions of the ICE trades are automatically synchronized in ComCore. Or the Bulldog, as a matter of fact, because the same interface also works for the Bulldog.
I understand. Excellent. Thanks very much for doing this interview today. It's been very enlightening for me. And thanks again for watching, and we'll see each other in the next edition of Current Trends in Commodity Trading. Goodbye for now.